That right now. This is the Civic Opera Building from 1929. This is a massive statement piece. This is about grandeur and culture and how we have these things. It ignores the river entirely. Because that's what culture does back in 1929. Now the blank area here is the back of the main stage. Everything above that is rental offices. The idea when this got built is that the rent from the offices supports the building itself. You're not relying on the opera revenue to keep the lights on. Faces a comedy and tragedy, and then you might notice that building is spelled with a V instead of a U. The Romans, back in the day, Latin does not distinguish between U and V, so ancient Roman ruins look like that. Anytime you're trying to act classy, you do that as well. This is the architectural equivalent of putting your pinky out while drinking tea. Incorrect and incredibly annoying. Up ahead to the right, that's Union Station. This is where all the trains are going. Everything above that, and on the other side we have a lot of modernist buildings. Modernism was popular from the 30s to the 80s, and it's all about honesty. The building should be what it is. If that's an office building, we are not going to dress it up like a temple. If it is made out of steel and glass, that's what we decorate it with. We are not going to load it up with excess decoration, ornaments, because that is a crime. If this is a cool structure, that's what we're going to tell people about. So these two right here are in a style called black box modernism, which kind of is the most severe form. It was pioneered by a guy called Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, and it goes out of fashion in the mid-1960s. They still keep playing around with modernist ideas though. Like over here on our left, this is from 1961. Still simple, but you push the windows into the framework to give it some depth, and now the frames shade the windows. Beyond that, we got the shiny black building there. This is you ever have those moments your brain just shuts down for a half second? I hate that. Anyway, this is all highly polished granite, no carvings on the outside like you can see in Art Deco, because again, ornament is a crime. You are focusing on the building here. Now I realize some of you are probably thinking, okay, it's a bunch of office buildings, like, we get it. And I'm not trying to tell you that these are the most beautiful buildings you've ever seen. But you do need to understand, the reason you think these look like standard office buildings is because the first modernist buildings defined that style. Like, imagine you've never seen anything like this before. It is mind-blowing, it is weird, it is different, and then thousands of them went up for 30 years. Like, that's really what kills it and makes it bog standard, because you see these all the time. But size still matters, and if you look all the way up here to your left, you get the tallest building in Chicago. Now we're going to talk about that more on the way back up because we get a better view and you don't have to crane your necks, but we are going to talk about it. And in the meantime, up ahead to our left, the building with the red rectangle, that is a map of the area. The building was built in 1987. In 2014, they add this two-scale map. Like, that is the building itself on the river and surrounded by the roads. The only thing that would make this cooler is if they stuck a projector over there that was shining laser dots with the position of every boat on the river onto it, but that would be expensive. And this also shows you the old attitude of the river. So the gray wall here, that's there because that's the mechanicals of the building, the elevator shafts, the air conditioning ducts, things like that. They wrapped the offices around it in a U shape. If this was built today, that would be flipped. The U of the offices would face this way to get the river views, the mechanicals would face the street. Now up ahead to the right, this is the old Chicago Post Office. This is built at two different times. The first bit in the center was completed in 1921, and then the towers around the outside, that's a large add-on from 1932. Now you can see that if you just look at the building, because in the center here, we got a lot of decoration, you got the circles below the roof line, you got interesting patterns in the brickwork and all that. And you compare that to the towers around the outside, those are more streamlined. They got dark panels in between the windows. So 11 years two architectural styles. When the whole thing is complete, it is the largest post office in the world, 2.2 million square feet. It is that big because Chicago is the railroad hub of the United States. If you look at a map of the country, all the train lines come to Chicago, which means in the 1900s and all that, all of the mail is going to that building. All of the mail order companies are based in Chicago, shipping through there. So it's big and it's over the top of the tracks. But they rely almost entirely on elevators going down through the center of the building, picking up the mail, and bringing it back up to be sorted.